And now, my friends, we return with the showdown between the High Elves, who shall be led by Techless, and it's not going to be Bird Techless, sorry to disappoint, but I did want to get some very expensive units, and Bird Techless costs an arm and a leg. And today, my friends, we're facing off against the Lizardmen, who shall be led by Aerocrastic, and it looks like it is going to be Jabba the Hutt and good old Mazda Mundi atop Zlok. Now, as far as my build goes, we're going to be trying a lot of new units. In the front line, we have Rangers, and Rangers, I think, are actually quite good against Lizards. Yeah, they'll get beaten down by Saurus, but many Lizardmen players these days will use a front line of Skinks, Red-Crested Skinks, Cohorts, and just use big dinos. And against, Skink Cohorts and Red-Crested Skinks, the Rangers are going to be super cost-effective and should outtrade all of those little lizard boys. So in total, we have 4 of them, I think. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be 4. This is also my first time trying out the Talons of TOR CALEDA. These guys are quite cool. They imbue fire weakness, and that's pretty much their main thing. So you use them with Sisters of Avalorn, you apply the fire weakness, then the Sisters, who of course do fire damage, you get a nice force multiplier, and you prosper. So we have 2 Sisters, one of the Talons of TOR CALEDA, of course. And on the flanks, we have Spearmen. On the flanks of the Archer lines, we do also have some Silverin Guard. So Silverin Guard could be cool here. Not really sure about their efficacy against dinos, but they're more durable, they have anti-large, and lizards do have a fair amount of magic, like banishments and things like that. So we'll see how they do. On top of that, just in case he did come in with a heavy Saurus army, I wanted to also have Lion Chariots. So we have the Lion Chariots of Krace here, and these guys are actually really exceptional at killing like infantry in general. Solid stuff. And I found that the lions on the front actually do okay AP damage against monsters. So like in the late game, you can use them to chase down like salamanders, and they can do some decent work. So that's pretty much it. We got Techless for our caster. He has Nets, Flock of Doom for crowd clearing, and also Regrowth, which is pretty much a staple. A couple War Lines. So we do have the War Lines of Krace. 2 of those just to run interference and serve as some decent mass in my back line. And that is it. So now for the Forces of Arrow, he's got a couple Chameleons. He does also have Pterodon Riders. Chameleons will actually be really good against my units here. Rangers do have fair amount of physical resist, but very lightly armored, so the Skinks are so good there. His front line is going to be Red-Crested Skinks with Cohorts. In the back, he's got an Engine of the Gods, which I believe got some changes. But basically what he's going to be looking to do is use Lord Mazda Mundi, net something down, and use the Engine of the Gods to blast me into the Shadow Realm. So Engine of the Gods, Mazda Mundi, he's got some Cauldron Riders in the back, and also he does have an Ancient Salamander, which if I don't have like a Bolt Thrower or anything, this guy's really good at just wearing down archers and bunched up High Elf units. It's a really cool build, honestly, and I'm very excited to show you guys this game. So here comes the battle. Skinks on the flank, going to be poking in. Here they come, little chameleon guys, and boom, dropping some bows here on the Rangers. And no casualties, thankfully. So I do send in the Chariots just as a bit of a tease. I'm not really going to, commit the Chariots, but I do just want to push in here and at least force him back a little bit. In the meantime, my archers are unleashing some shots here into the cohort of Sotek, but the cohort is able to fall back. Aerocrastic, of course, with some very good control. And now my Lion Chariots are actually taking a little bit of damage from those Skinks. Granted, all of the white lion units, so the lions themselves, they have like the lion pelt or whatever it's called. Yeah, it's called lion pelt, which does give them a 30% missile resist. So against skirmishing elements, white lion units are actually quite solid. And we did see that in the game in the Paunch tournament I had, the early access tournament, where against Vampire Coast, Flying Taco came in with a huge high elf like white lion build. Everybody thought it was a meme. But actually, after the game was over, or the tournament was over, I talked to him and he's like, yeah, that wasn't meant to be a meme build. Yeah, it was all lions, but they all have a ton of missile resist. And against Vampire Coast and gunline builds, especially how Anticity likes to play, it was quite solid. So now we get Jabba the Hutt here. We get all of our archers in position. We do get an Amatok from Techless. It's going to be brutal. So much damage going to be coming into Mazda. He is weak to fire, but of course, a nice shield of the old ones will pretty much counterbalance the extra fire damage coming in. But Mazda Mundi is certainly taking a huge pounding. He does also respond using a banishment in the front line, goes through some of my Rangers. But this is great. We're able to get Mazda Mundi down to about half health right as the game starts. Very happy about that situation. In the meantime, we are going to be using a Fiery Convocation right here to try and save my Lion Chariots, who actually got Shrek pretty good by his Cauldron Riders. But the reason they got caught is because he also used the net from Jabba the Hutt. Oh, but look at that. Engine of the Gods coming in. It just narrowly misses my sisters. Man, there was just so much going on. But Fiery Convocation comes in and does some really good damage against those Cauldron Riders. So far, very much a back and forth scrap here in this battle. So now we have Rangers engaging in the front line, going to be fighting against the Skinks, and we also have some War Line support. So you can see the War Lines of Krace going to be coming in and should be able to get in there and really wreck these Skinks. So they do, of course, have a bonus for his infantry, and I do also have a Chariot nearby. Now a couple Pterodons coming in to fight against the Sisters is also quite a good play. Going to be able to lock those ladies down. And now my firepower, the Talons of TOR CALEDA plus the Sisters have switched onto the Engine of the Gods, as Mazda Mundi has pretty much ran into the Shadow Realm and is going to be healing himself up with Apotheosis. So Chariot's just doing their best to hold, using the War Lines in the back as a peeling unit, going after the Pterodon Riders here, able to shake and bake those guys. Should be able to peel them. Silverin Guard here as well. Anti-large, good holding capacity. Chariots rear charging. You can see the Lion Chariots of Krace have received a regrowth, so they should be combat functional once again. So now we're ripping some shots into the Ancient Stegodon. Mazda Mundi's back in business, so you can see he's kind of the priority target since he's the one that does the healing. So we're going to switch and shoot him. I do also overcast a net here on these Colden Riders that were blitzing right through the middle. So had I not done that, they would have collapsed into my archers. But now we're able to really muck them up using our war lines here and also some of the rangers. You can see the war lines are actually like in front of them a little bit. And it's a very, very close grab. Currently, balance of power is pretty much dead even. Maybe I have a slight advantage, but now comes the Colden Riders. And man, look at that shot from that Ancient Sally. So much work with the Silver Guard. Surge forward to protect the Sisters of Avalorn. They couldn't brace, unfortunately, because I had to get ahead of the Sisters. But nonetheless, we have good armored anti-large here that hopefully can hold. Granted, Colden Riders do actually have pretty good AP values. So again, balance of power is really even. Mazda Mighty's coming in as well, and the Ancient Stegodon are now going to be pushing into my back line, just trying to get my sisters back. These ones have broken, these ones have broken as well, so my archer line is not in the best shape here. Granted, one of those archers are the Talons of TOR CALEDA, so they're not sisters actually, but still a very tough situation. Mazda Mighty's very, very low here. Spearmen are holding back the Red-Crested Skinks, Silver and Guard, just MVPs here. In the back, war lines are broken as well. But I have to say, the Lion Chariots of Grace have gotten up to about 50 kills and have been doing a really good job, and you know, the monsters are going to be the big issue because I have a ton of stuff left. I have Rangers, I have Techless, I have a bunch of mobile units, but Arrow's doing a really good job chasing down my Archer units, and I can't quite catch him. I do have the Warlines hunting, and the Warlines are peeling off some of these the Colden Rider models, but he's still able to get my Archers, and I really need them to come back online. And it looks like we might get the Talons of TOR CALEDA back, as the Warlines of Grace are able to chase down the Colden Riders. Oh no, but the net, the massive overcasted net, it's going to be coming in, and I'm going to have to eat this Engine of the Gods. Oh no, the humanity. Let's go ahead and watch the damage here. You know what? That was not that much damage. It was really stylish for sure. Okay, it did some decent stuff at the end there, but I suppose the Silver and Guard do have the magic resist, but it was still super stylish. A very, very awesome play, to say the least. Now, we have Mazda Mundi. We have the Ancient Stegodon. Mazda's pretty low. He's going to be charging into this blob here. Techless is going to get his sword out, which no longer gives him the juicy combat stats. Gives him a ton of winds of magic now. Lion Chariots, just riding things down. Regrowth used on them once again. They're pretty powerful and have good AP value, so I figured, hey, let's keep those bad boys alive and use them to maybe take out the Salamander as this game does progress. Archers are chased down completely, though. Colden Riders are able to get the Sisters. I simply didn't have the mobility to protect them. And now Skinks are just kind of swarming into the back. Though the balance is still really even, guys. Honestly, if we can get this Ancient Salamander and maybe get just a Silver and Guard stacked on top of the big monsters, maybe we can grind this out. Again, Mazda Mundi probably still has some Winds of Magic, probably for Apotheosis. What else does he have? I think Apotheosis and Nets is pretty much all he brought. Yeah, it looks like Apotheosis and Nets. Certainly good. Healing and Snares are like two of the best mechanics in the entire game. So being able to get those in one nicely fat, happy package is quite good. So here comes the Chariots, going in once again. And I really think that the Warline Chariots are really, really solid. They've been great for me this entire game. Just kind of running over the Skinks, clearing out the chaff. And, you know, the Spearmen obviously won't do it quickly. But if you get the Lion Chariots slamming into you, it's going to be good. So Lion Chariots going in now, charging into the Ancient Salamander, getting about 70-100 damage right there on the initial impact. Silver and Guard and Spearmen just trying to hold back the big dinos. And Techless is here as well. Techless does have the Potion of Koroi. We do also have some Warlines coming back. So the Warlines could be invaluable. Good AP values, potentially something that could finish off an Ancient Salamander if it's still healthy. But these ones actually just rallied a minute ago, and I didn't notice. So they're taking a lot of damage here from the Chameleons, and that is not a great situation. So Techless honestly probably has some of the best wind magic in the entire game. He does have a greater Arcane Conduit, which is the best version of Arcane Conduit, and also does have the Sword of Techless. So he's kind of like what Manfred used to be in Game 1 in terms of just being able to cast like a million spells. So the Warlines are coming in, able to surround the Ancient Salamander. Some good HP damage I'm sure will be coming in as these lions sink their fangs into the hide of the Salamander. Techless coming in, Lion Chariots as well. This is an opportunity for us to take out the Salamander. But the two big dinos are coming in. We have the Ancient Stegodon. We do also have Lord Mastamani with Apotheosis. Silver and Guard and Spearmen hot in pursuit here. But we really need to get that Sally off the battlefield. Balance of power just keeps ebbing back and forth as we do more and more damage. So what I do is I let Techless take the beating from the two big dinos because he has Potion of Koroi. So I can use that to heal him. No Winds Magic required. And now the Lion Chariots are going to be coming in and getting the rear charge, running over a couple of the cohort of Sotek in the process, into the back of the Ancient Salamander. It's wavering, cold-blooded. It's probably going to break. What's its HP? And the Ancient Salamander gets taken out by the Lion Chariots of Krace. What a scrappy game here. And now you can see Techless is back in business with his sword, his 224 weapon strength, chipping away at the hide of Mazda Mundi. But we might be able to do this if our Spearmen can hold. Because, of course, we are playing in accordance with the rules of a tournament. So if they have only single entities in combat, he's going to have to sit in combat with spears and cannot cycle charge me. So I'm just trying at this point to get rid of everything else. I'm like, okay, let's just clear up, use the Lion Chariots, use Techless to just kind of run these things down. Now we have the Colden Riders pretty much out of the picture, and that's what I'm telling you about the Lion Chariots. They're not like great against monsters, but at least they have good AP, and it seems like their attack animations are pretty decent against those big threats. So the Colden Riders there are pushed back. What do the Lizards have left? They have some Chameleons here. They have some Skink cohorts over here. So a little bit of fast forwarding as we engage here. Shield of the Old Ones is activated, so that's going to give them a huge ward save. And it's looking a little bit scary, though. My ward lines are breaking. The Lion Chariots are still fighting to the bitter end. Proud Lions of Crace here as we move in and try and take out some of the Skinks here. But it's looking a little bit tough as Arrow is finally able to isolate the Lion Chariots back here. You can see he's able to hunt those guys down. They're going to come in and drift in and get a couple more kills, up to 93, honestly, against some pretty tough targets. Mazda Money gets an end of M-Talk on Teclis, and that is going to be the buttering of the bread, as I do respond with the regrowth, but it is not going to be enough. So very well played to Arrow. It was a really, really close game, actually. But yeah, a couple things I realized about the build. Obviously, I wanted to try a lot of new things. It's a cute combo here for the Talons of TOR CALEDA, but I don't know if it's worth it. And what I was really missing in that build was mass. Granted, we did a good enough job with our nets in the beginning. We punished Mazda. We got a fiery convocation from the casters. We did take out the Salamander, but I needed more mass to hold Mazda Money in place, because there came a point where I didn't have enough mass in my back line, and he chased off my archers. At that point, like, I went from being in a favorable position to, at that point, I think, winning the game, to him being able to push the archers back and route them off the map with really good control. And obviously, at that point, I wasn't able to do too much. So I do like this build, so we'll actually go to the drawing board and do some updates for this build that I think would be able to function a lot better in this situation. But man, Arrow's play was awesome, showing us the Enter of the Gods in action, Ancient Salamander. It was a really cool synergy with all those units. So very well played, Arrow. If you guys haven't seen his YouTube channel, go check him out. He's an awesome guy and a great player. Truly one of the staples of the multiplayer community. And now we're going to be jumping on over and going back to the drawing board with that build. So let's do it to it. So custom battle here. We're not looking at greenskins right now. Let's go ahead and look at some of the High Elves. So yeah, I think Teclis is honestly great in that matchup. Bird Teclis is actually something to consider because he's really hard to kill. You know, maybe we go Bird Teclis. Flock of Doom I like to use against Skinks. Regrowth is super important as well. You know, maybe Bird Teclis there because like he has good AP and he can like drag down like a Stegodon probably. Yeah, and he's like super tough to kill. Okay, so let's try that. So we'll get a couple Rangers, couple Silver and Guard, which, do we really need the Silver and Guard though? I don't think so because like he has so much AP anyways. Let's just get regular Spearmen. We'll get 2 Sisters for the Focus Fire. I do like the War Lions, but I'm thinking maybe Silver Helms might just be objectively better. I mean, the War Lions, maybe we'll get one of them and 2 Silver Helms. Okay, so this is good. We have the Spears on the flanks. I think we just need a little bit more to defend now. So now we actually have some mass to block things up, which is good. I think the Lion Chariot was really solid, but with Bird Teclis, I don't think it's as necessary, and the Silver Helms kind of address that situation. I could get like another Phoenix or something, but I need a little bit more width. In case he like had like a million Cold One Cav, I really do want to get the I really do want to get the Silver and Guard. I like those guys quite a bit. And the Lion Chariot's just so expensive, but I guess it's really nice for just running through hordes of Skinks. Alright, so front line's Rangers, flanks are Spearmen, Silver Helms in the back defending, 1 Warline is a Sweeper, and Bird Teclis. And yeah, we have a little bit of stuff we could actually cut here. Kindle Flame Synergy could be pretty good with the Sisters. I don't know. Is that whenever we cast it? Any spell? Yeah. So Kindle Flame, Synergy, Potion of Croy. I do like Fiery Convocation. We need Sword of Teclis still. It's, of course, the main reason we take him here. Flock of Doom. How much do we need that, really? I don't think we need it as much as you'd think. It's such a cheap spell, though. So Regrowth and that are going to be good. Flaming Sword of Ruin, not super necessary in my opinion. We could do Enfeebling Foe instead. It's only 6 wins of magic, and it also will be better for Bird Teclis duels. Yeah, so we have 2 Silver Helms. We have 1 War Lion. We have the Lion Chariot, which seemed to do pretty well for us. But with Bird Teclis, I mean, how necessary is it with the Silver Helms? It does open up a lot. We can get like, although with High Elves, it's only like a couple more units. We could get like 1 Elite unit, but Elite Halberd Infantry suck against like big dinos. They typically don't do the job. Bird Teclis is so expensive though, but it seems like it could be a really good, like consistent AP tool. Mobility causes terror. Really is no joke for sure. I'm not a huge fan of Reavers in this matchup. I guess they're okay for chasing things off. We'll have the 2 Silver Helms. We could get the Talons of TOR CALEDA plus a Spearman. But 2 Sisters is much easier to defend, and I think like 2 Sisters would have been doing pretty good damage as is. Yes, maybe we do get the Chariot. Yeah, I think it was pretty good. And yeah, give it a try, guys. Let me know how it goes for you. And we'll see you guys on the other side. Cheers.